Okay, hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sharifana Sakina binti Said Manisam. My metric number 199357. Today the video is about an aquifer model for subject ESC4202 Hydrogeology. So this is the final assessment. So the final assessment is about aquifer model. So first thing first, what is aquifer? Aquifer is actually a body of porous rock or sediment that is saturated with groundwater. The water is actually came from the above the ground, or whether it's came from the drain or excess water from the drain or from the rain, and then it seeps or infiltrates onto the ground through the soil. Or, in a simple way, an aquifer is actually a body of rock or and sediment that holds the groundwater. So, there are two types of aquifer. The first one is confined aquifer, and the second one is unconfined aquifer. So, I will focus on the unconfined aquifer because this type of aquifer model is an unconfined aquifer. What is unconfined aquifer? Unconfined aquifer lies below the permeable layer of soil. So what is permeable layer of soil? Permeable layer of soil is the soil that can hold the water. Okay, so now I want to show the problem that I focus on my aquifer model. So as we can see, this is the petrol station, the road, the pumping well, the pumping well, and also the oil well. Okay, so this is just for okay to show the water, to differentiate the water between these two and the water at the pumping well. Okay, so the situation here is that of the surface leakage of petrol or gasoline at the petrol service station or even at the road itself can actually contaminate the groundwater and even the soil. Okay. So I want to show whether the water is not contaminated. Okay. Before we put the oil. Okay. Okay. As you can see here. Okay. Okay. This is the water. Maybe okay. We already put the color, but okay. Never mind. Okay. We push it back, and then from there you can see it's actually the water, the result. Okay, yeah. Okay, as you can see, the water is not contaminated yet, and it is clean from the ground. Okay. So next, we take from the pumping well, whether we can see whether it is contaminated or not. Okay, the water is not contaminated yet. Okay, be back. So now we see what will happen if we put oil. Okay, first we put only a small amount of oil. Okay, I will use this syringe to make it easier for me. Okay, if this oil is having a leak, I mean if there is a leakage of petrol, at the petrol station only a small amount of leakage, it will only contaminate the soil because it cannot penetrate in a longer direction. So what happens if there is a huge leakage? Okay, I will just okay, on the road, happen on the road, okay, at the petrol station, yeah, and there is huge amount of leakage. Okay, what will happen? So as you can see, I have put a large amount of oil, which means that there is a huge leakage of petrol or gasoline on the road, and basically, like we can see, uh, it's actually we barely see on the newspaper it says that there is a contamination to the groundwater due to the oil spill on the road. Okay, but basically, if there is an oil spill, sometimes we can see when there is a rain, there will be on the road like colorful colorful flow, and it will actually flow to the low area, go to the side of the road. Okay, so I have put here, and so now let's see what happened after there is an huge amount of oil spill or petrol spill. Okay, first we see on these two. Okay, so it's actually here I can tell that there is an oil contaminate. The water is contaminated with oil because the because let me show you, because as you can see here, yeah, but I can tell you there is water contaminated with oil on this bamboo well. Okay, this water is actually already contaminated with oil. Okay, contaminated with oil. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to say is that the larger amount of leakage of the petrol of the gasoline, of the petrol or gasoline, which actually can lead to the non-aqueous phase liquid and APL, which can contaminate not only the soil but also the groundwater, which is the source for our drinking water sources. So this is actually very dangerous, and from the leakage of the oil, it actually can produce of benzene, which can lead to many harmful disease that we need to avoid. Okay, so for the problem solving, how do we want to actually treat this problem. Okay, the first one, if there is a small leakage and the leakage only contaminate the soil, we will only use excavation and a removal of the sand, which also we can see that the both process for small and larger leakage, we can use the pump and treatment. Okay, the for the larger leakage, we can treat by doing physical pumping by pumping the NaPl, which is non-aqueous phase liquid, and pump the floating of oil at the water phases. Okay. So the last but not least, I just want to say that it is actually hard to do the treatment process because it is costly and even it takes a longer time to treat rather than we may get faults or we may the oil spill because of the human activities. So the important thing that we need to do is that we must try our best to protect the environment from the contamination. That is the first thing that we need to do. Okay, because treat will never be the best solution that we can do. That's all from me. Thank you.